It's been a year since the pop-out, that seismic moment that turned an already fierce feud between Kendrick Lamar and Drake into the defining hip-hop event of a generation. But the echoes of that battle still shake the culture today. You can still feel it in the way fans argue online, in the caution of record executives, in the hesitation of rappers who once might have dropped a diss without thinking twice. The fight that started in the studio has metastasized into something bigger, darker, and potentially more damaging than anyone imagined. All because of one man's decision to take things from the booth to the courtroom. Welcome to celebrity rap life, where the red carpets never roll up and the spotlight never fades. The rewards are legendary. Because in celebrity rap life, every downfall can become a comeback, and every headline tells a deeper story. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a second of what's coming next. If you detect frustration in my tone, you're not wrong. I'm not biased. I'm upset. Drake could ruin everything. What was once a proud, sometimes brutal tradition in hip-hop, battling with words, competing with verses, is now under threat. And the person swinging the wrecking ball is the same artist who once benefited from this culture. To understand how we got here, maybe the best way is to think of this story like one of those classic Hollywood high school movies. In this case, the high school is hip-hop culture itself. Before the feud reignited, Kendrick was the cool senior, the valedictorian and the king of the lunchroom all at once. He earned perfect grades because he was brilliant, but that wasn't why everyone loved him. They loved him because he was real. He'd grown up in this school, and every word he rapped felt like the school's true voice. Kendrick didn't just represent hip-hop, he was hip-hop. If this school had colors, they ran through his veins. Drake, in this version, was the popular foreign exchange student. He had undeniable charisma and charm. People liked him, and he fit in well enough. But beneath the surface, there was always a distance. He wasn't from here. He didn't quite speak the native tongue. He knew the rules on paper but missed the ones that lived in the air, in the way things felt. That was the problem from the beginning. Back in 2013, when Kendrick dropped his now legendary verse on Big Sean's Control, he sent shockwaves through the culture. It wasn't just another guest verse. He named names, Drake included, challenging his peers to step their game up. The message wasn't personal. It was competitive. Kendrick was planting a flag. I'm the best of my generation. Come prove me wrong. This kind of lyrical sparring is part of hip-hop's DNA. Every MC Kendrick named knew the code. They understood it was a challenge, not a character assassination. But Drake didn't get it. In multiple interviews, he aired his confusion and discomfort about the move. He took it personally. He didn't see that this was Kendrick paying respect to the culture, playing the game by its deepest rules. And that misunderstanding, that gap in comprehension, became the thesis of Kendrick's most brutal diss a decade later, Not Like Us. The song wasn't just a list of insults. It was a scathing argument. Drake, for all his success, doesn't truly belong. He's a tourist, a colonizer of hip-hop, mining its riches without truly being of the culture. That's the core of Kendrick's attack. Not that Drake is untalented or inauthentic in every way, but that he'll never really understand the blood that runs through this thing. And then came the response that proved Kendrick's point. Months after Not Like Us topped charts, broke streaming records, and became a cultural anthem, Drake filed a defamation lawsuit. The target, Universal Music Group, home to both artists. The claim, that Kendrick's song, intended to convey the specific, unmistakable and false factual allegation that Drake is a criminal pedophile, and even worse, that it incited the public toward vigilante justice against him. It's a staggering move for a battle rapper, because it isn't a battle move at all. It's lawyering up. And in hip-hop, that's not just frowned upon. It's a cardinal sin. To be clear, Drake argued that UMG essentially helped push Not Like Us as a massive single, amplifying the damage to his image, and that this created legal grounds for the suit. But to many in the industry, and even to fans, that reads as nothing more than a sore loser's cry. UMG promoted the record like they promote all their artists. That's the game. You don't sue the league because you lost the match. The tragedy here is that this lawsuit has likely done more to hurt Drake's image and career than simply losing the battle ever could. You can lose a rap beef with dignity and walk away with your respect intact. Drake survived the brutal L he took to Pusha T in 2018. He could have survived this one too. But instead, He chose to be the guy who went crying to the principal. Back to the high school movie. The battle, the diss tracks, the lyrical blows traded back and forth, was a fight in the parking lot. Gloves off, fair game. Kendrick won. Drake lost. And then, instead of dusting himself off, Drake ran to the authorities. And once the principal gets involved, the school isn't the same anymore. And this is where the story goes from one artist's ego to a cultural problem. Because now the suit is moving through the courts, and the precedent it could set is terrifying. Corporate lawyers, always risk-averse, are surely watching. If Drake can successfully sue over a diss record, what happens next? Labels might become hesitant to back diss tracks at all, worried about potential liability. Imagine that world. No more takeover. No more ether. No hit 'em up. No Vaseline. No not like us. Diss records have always been a key part of hip-hop's vibrancy, its hunger, its constant reinvention. A healthy culture can handle conflict, and often thrives on it. We want rappers to go to war sometimes. If those records disappear, if labels become scared to stand behind them, we lose something vital. The very spirit that made this genre what it is. And at the center of this possible future stands one man, Drake. It's worth asking what Drake's legacy might be if this lawsuit leads to that chilling effect. He was once the guy who made vulnerability cool in rap, who dominated charts with melodies as well as bars. But he could also go down in history as the artist who killed battle rap, at least on the mainstream stage. The guy who lost the biggest rap battle of the decade, and then tried to ban the game altogether. There's a bitter irony here. Drake once benefited from this culture more than almost anyone. He built an empire on top of hip-hop's foundations. But now, when the culture turned on him, when a rival hit back harder than he expected, his instinct was to burn the playground down. It's not too late for him to reverse course. He could drop the lawsuit. He could take his L and move forward. He could release new music that reminds everyone why he's been on top so long. The fans would still be there. Hip-hop is forgiving if you show respect. But if he presses on with this legal strategy, he risks being remembered not for his music, but for what he destroyed. The sore loser who couldn't accept the rules of the game he chose to play. And the saddest part is this, hip-hop didn't need this fight to end this way. Diss records come and go. Beefs flare up and fade. The culture survives. It grows. But when the lawyers get involved, the soul of the thing can get sucked out. What was once alive and dangerous becomes sanitized and corporate. That would be the real tragedy, not Kendrick beating Drake on wax, but the entire genre losing its edge because one superstar couldn't take a punch. So here we are, a year after the pop-out, watching this battle play out not on the charts, but in the courts. The hip-hop community waits. Will Drake double down and risk poisoning the well for everyone? Or will he step back, remember what this culture gave him, and let the music speak again? The choice is his. The consequences belong to us all. This story is far from over, and the truth is still unfolding. I want to hear what you think. Drop your take in the comments. And if you don't want to miss the next twist, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a second of what's coming next.